Throughout the years, Clash Royale has had many game-changing updates that have slowly but surely created the Clash we know today. With each and every update, we got new cards, chests, cosmetics, but most importantly, new features that enhance the playing experience and keep us coming back. Today, we're going to be diving into the 8-year history of Clash Royale and picking the best update of every year, from the beta launch in January 2016, all the way to the most recent 2024 update. So, with that being said, let's get right into it.
Let's do this.
2016 had a lot of updates, and while a big portion of it focused on new arenas and tons of new cards, there were also a lot of significant changes to the game, such as the addition of trophy seasons, the legendary rarity, tournaments, new chests, challenge mode, special events, the clan chest, and tons of other welcomed quality of life changes. Naturally, this was a pretty hard choice. I mean, it felt like every update this year was pretty dang solid. After all, it was the first year of the game, and they were really trying to go the extra mile to make a great first impression. With that being said, I'm gonna go with the February 29th update. This was the update right before global launch, and I just feel like they added a perfect amount of content for everyone. We got these 6 cards, 2 of them being a new rarity at the time, legendaries of course. We got the giant chest and super magical chest, a staple in progression. Multiple deck slots, like, you know how annoying it was to play a game with a different deck before we even had deck slots? Things like this is the reason I picked this update. There were additions that are essential to Clash Royale even 8 years later in 2024. I understand this may be a controversial pick, especially when there were updates like tournaments and clan chests, but the clan chest was only available once at the very end of the year, and tournaments would eventually become a huge wasted potential. To me, the February 29th update was the update that completed Clash Royale, and like I said, it makes sense because it was right before global. Next up is 2017. Man, what a great year for Clash Royale. If I had to pick the golden years of Clash Royale, 2017 would be in there, no doubt. This year we got trophy leagues, 4 new chests, clan battles, quests, touchdown mode, new game modes, and tons of new cards. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really need to think about this one much because the March 13th update was packed with amazing content. For starters, I can't believe Clash Royale didn't have trophy leagues up to this point. You climbed the arenas, and when you got to the last one, that was it. There was nothing beyond that point of the game except for some cool shiny trophies. However, in this update, there was now a reason to push. Depending on what league you finished at the end of the season, it would determine how big of a draft chest you got, which was also new in this update. But if the trophy system changes wasn't enough, we also got clan battles. What a monumental feature this was. They took the already fun clan chest feature and combined it with this new temporary 2v2 mode, and man, if you remember playing clan battles for the first time, it was exciting and very fun. I think 2v2 carried 2017. The gameplay mechanics of clan battles would eventually become a permanent mode in Clash Royale, and I think that says a lot about the success of this update. Of course, there were other additions that helped me pick this specific update, like these 4 new cards, being able to spectate your clanmates, and tons of other smaller but necessary changes. I'm pretty confident with my choice here, but I'm always curious. If you disagree with my pick, feel free to drop it down below. Why? And what update would have you picked? Alright, now we're at 2018, another solid year. We got Clan Wars, new emotes, trading, star points, global tournaments, and a lot of other cool features for both Clan Wars and regular gameplay. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. The April 25th update, which introduced Clan Wars, is very hard to top, and that's gonna be my pick. There were tons of great updates in 2018, but Clan Wars really changed the landscape. Finally, there was some competitive aspect to clans that didn't involve trophy pushing, and this was arguably the best version of Clan Wars we ever had in the game. Though I understand that is very subjective, and I may be a little biased toward it because of the simplicity of this version that I really loved. But let's put my opinion to the side for a second. Clan Wars was huge for the game. After Clash Royale had slowed down toward the end of 2017, Clan Wars breathed new life into it. Everyone was trying to test out this new game mode, and it was fun. It was genuinely a blast. Of course, that's how it feels anytime you try something for the first time, but it was truly something special compared to Clan Wars 2.0. We don't talk about that. But besides Clan Wars, there were also other improvements and additions, mostly small stuff like permanent emote muting, spectator emotes, sharing decks, and the implementation of Supercell ID. Overall, it was a great update that kept the majority of players happy for the rest of the year. Next up is 2019, a very interesting year for content, but also a turning point for the game's future. We saw the introduction of Trophy Road, Pass Royale, the party button, tiebreaker, card info screens, and gameplay changes. There were also some new cards, arenas, and emotes. However, from this point on, I'll be skipping that content unless it is worth a mention for a particular reason. I wanted to start by saying that I really loved Pass Royale, and the 2019 seasons were the best in my opinion. I had to hold myself back from saying this was the best update. Sure, it was a paid feature, but for the free-to-play players, you got tons of rewards, new game modes, the occasional free skin, and more. There was something for everybody, and that's how it should be. But unfortunately, Pass Royale also started a bad trend in that it felt they were relying on Pass Royale to carry the year, so the updates following it were incredibly underwhelming. My pick for the best update of 2019 has to be before all of this, the April 15th update which introduced Trophy Road. Up to that point, Clash Royale had an issue that this update aimed to solve, give you a reason to push and do more ladder. And it worked! Trophy Road was filled with free rewards that were actually worth it, and the more you push, the better the rewards, and you could even see your friends and where they are and when you beat them. It was like a game in a game. Along with that, we also got the new Mega Deck mode, Elixir Capture, and Dragon Hunt, all of which were incredibly unique game modes at the time. And finally, the homepage was overhauled. This wasn't the first time they had moved things around, but it was a pretty welcomed redesign. For the most part, at least. All in all, if it wasn't for the Trophy Road update, 2018 would have been a pretty mid-year. 2020, this is gonna be a hard one, but here we go. This year, Clan Wars 2.0 was introduced, and yeah. Obviously, there were other smaller changes throughout the year, as well as new cards and seasons. Also, Clan Wars 2.0 is not just one feature, it's a combination of a lot of them, but yeah, the Clan Wars 2.0 update was the only big feature of 2020. The only other major update that followed aimed to fix issues within the new Clan Wars. It's unfortunate because a lot of time and resources went into fixing a feature that was not on par with what players wanted. With that being said, believe it or not, this was the best update of 2020. The amount of content the new system contained was quite grand. It may have been very flawed in many areas, but at least there was something new, unlike any other update this year. But let's look at the smaller changes. This wasn't the only update that contained small changes, but it was the best. Besides Clan Wars 2.0, they added a free daily gift in the shop, a redesign to the chat UI, a random deck button for certain modes, which would later become a permanent feature, a new tab in the News Royale for YouTuber content, and a few more smaller tidbits here and there. Overall, 2020 and this particular update could have been way better, but something is something, and it's not like I had a lot of choices either. Moving on, we're at 2021, a major improvement over 2020. We got magic items, more Clan Wars 2.0 changes, gold crates, level 14, champions, the King's Journey, and a rework to the Star Point system. I really wanted to say the magic items update at first because it laid the foundation to an easier progression system, but other than that, the update was fairly small and focused a lot on more Clan Wars fixes. I know, boring stuff. So with that in mind, I went with the October 27th update titled Champions. Champions did have balancing issues and level 14 had a rocky start, but the update was the largest we had got in a very long time, and there was a lot of extra content to mess around with and look at and play around with. I don't know. The point is, it wasn't just champions and level 14. With that being said, champions were the first new rarity in such a long time, and to finally see hero-like cards in the game was Fascinating. But probably the most surprising change was that they made star levels available starting at King level 6, which was previously endgame content. Also, the King's Journey not only added additional progression and rewards to the game, it also guided the player on what to expect in the next few levels. Pretty cool stuff. The update was a nice breath of fresh air, and that's why it's my pick as the best of 2021. Next up is 2022. Not a bad year at all. Not a bad year. We got a rework to badges, card masteries, battle banners, as well as a profile redesign for that, king level rework, Path of Legends, daily task, and more. Right off the bat, I'm gonna go with the October 26th update, which introduced Path of Legends and a whole lot more stuff. Now, many players may remember this as one of the worst times to be playing Clash Royale solely because of the broken cards. But if we ignore that, there was so much new stuff in this update, it's hard to ignore. Firstly, Path of Legends was something that was long overdue. Having a casual mode and a competitive mode in two different lanes was a very welcomed addition, and personally, I love that Trophy Road is no longer the sweatfest it used to be. They also added free champions in Trophy Road. They reworked the king levels so that it wasn't attached to your king tower level. Daily task, Hoggy Bank, not a big fan, but I guess cool. And taking a look at some of the smaller changes, we got a new champion chest, a champion wild card, profile redesign that made it look 10 times better, and a tech explorer to find new decks within the game. It is still very surprising the size of the update. It had a lot of cool stuff, and I don't think I could have picked a better update from 2022. Alright, now we're at 2023. Quite the amount of controversial updates, but a decent year nonetheless. We saw the addition of the Season Pass and Season Tokens, a rework to the Pass Royale, elite levels, card evolutions, training bot improvements, and an overhaul to the collection UI, which also included Tower Troop upgrades. However, the first Tower Troop wouldn't be available until 2024. This was a rather difficult one because none of these updates were perfect by any means. They each introduced their own set of problems and issues, like the Diamond Pass wasn't exactly received well. Elite levels were incredibly unnecessary for the game, and the entire December update was basically tons of UI changes that were good, but came with no new content that was immediately available. With that in mind, this may be a bit of a hot take, but the June 19th Card Evolutions update has to be the best of 2023. For starters, we got level 15 in the form of elite levels, and while I have nothing against new levels, it is very grindy and it almost feels like they want you to pay for it. Yeah, it's dumb. The real reason I chose this update is because Card Evolutions is pretty good. It adds a new layer to the cards that we've been playing for years, and to finally see them evolve into something else more powerful, and the aspect of only being able to bring one per deck is very unique, and I've had tons of fun with it. In this update, they also added 3 new arenas, increasing the trophy roll cap to 9,000, more gold in chests, and a lot of necessary improvements to the season shop and how you obtain tokens for it. Overall, card evolutions are pretty dope, and it's the most memorable feature of 2023. And finally, we're at 2024, which we'll be doing a little bit differently because there's only one update in 2024 so far. I'm gonna instead look at that update and pick my favorite feature, and it isn't hard to guess what I'm about to say. The mystery box. That came in the update in March 18th, where we got daily task, some deck UI changes, and a lot of other small quality of life changes. But yeah, boxes. Chests, whatever, it's just too many Supercell games. I gotta say, the mystery chests are very intriguing. You can get just about anything from the game in these new chests, and the best part, it's completely free. It's been a while since they added a feature that didn't involve buying something, and this is cool. It's like, you get on, complete these tasks, we give you a reward, and you can do this every day. Honestly, I haven't got to open many of these boxes yet, but that is my favorite thing about 2024 so far. So guys, that wraps it up. These are, in my opinion, the best updates of every year. I understand not everyone will agree with my picks, and like I mentioned earlier, feel free to drop down below your favorite updates or what would have you changed from my list. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a gaming out. Peace.